Good morning, morning, morning. Late start to the day again. You know, it's winter, it's fine. Gotta sleep more in winter, we're all bears. Today, we're doing this. Right down here. C# Monogame Dev. This is Visual Studio. Wait, it's over here. Woo! We're gonna be doing this for about an hour and a half today. You can think of it as hanging out, learning some development, learning some maybe some strategies for how you might design something, and maybe just hang out and see how some coding is done and how some game dev is done using Visual Studio, largely C# mixed with the Monogame pipeline. The pipeline tool probably won't be doing any new content today, like art or video or sprites or audio. That's one of the big reasons Monogame is used, because you have a pipeline tool that takes content and pipes it into the game when it's built. Today we're going to be doing one thing to start. I don't think it'll take the whole hour and a half, and then I'll move into the next thing. So the thing we're going to do to start is what we started doing last week. I'm going to go to our tasks. We're fixing the options menu. So my face is covering this a little bit, but it says we're fixing the options menu. So the options menu in the game is the thing that says, hey, what's the audio? Can we change the volume and sound effects and stuff? Actually, this might take, I forgot about that part. This might take the hour and a half, we'll see. And then the other parts are changing your controls. And then making sure it shows up in the right size at two different places in the game. One when you open the game, when you're like the original menu. And then two, later on, when you're in-game and there's a different render target. So it's rendering to a smaller size. And we might need to adjust how it's being rendered based off of where it's rendering in the game. That'll probably be the last thing that we do. So this is, if you haven't been following, this is an action puzzle game called Switchball Deluxe. We're not really going to be looking at the game itself today. We're going to be looking at the code, and we're going to be looking at the menu. So today is a look at the menu and do coding sort of day. So let's dive right in. So in order to have context for what we're fixing, I need to boot up the game. One thing that I've been doing every single time that we boot up the game is making the volume 0, because I don't want the music playing right now. We got a little bit of music in the background, some chill hop. So we can adjust that so it's 0 when the game starts. It's pretty easy. On the right here, I have an audio class. We have a music volume and a sound effects volume. And here you see when the class is instantiated, they are 0. Pretty straightforward. If we go, you can see there's an update music up and down. So it might be in the menu itself that I'm setting them to 5. It looks like I'm not setting them to 5 here. Let's see. There's also another music class or sound effects class. That might be something we want to look at too. One of the things that I often see in games, and friends sees in games too, is that despite the volume being at 50%, sometimes that's not what you actually want the volume to be at. Anyway, let's just boot it up. We won't look too far in here, and we'll show it. Okay. You can kind of hear it in the background. Let me go ahead and show the game. We got some context right now. What I like to do is this. There's the game. So what we're going to be diving in today is this options menu. You can see it's a little bit off. We go to audio. We're going to make that 0. We could also decrease the sound of the sound effects too, but we're not going to be dealing with that so much. So this is the menu that we're going to be updating today. You can see the text is not aligned, especially in the audio menu here. Those arrows are not aligned. Text is not aligned. If we go back, last week, we updated the controls for both of these menus. We removed a bunch of controls from the previous game this is based off of, the code base is off of, called Blister Blight. If we go in here, we can still see that our text now only has the actual controls. In fact, this one still says inventory PC. That's not quite right. But the controls on the right are not aligned. And if we go back, same for the gamepad. So there's a couple different things that we want to do. We probably want to adjust the text first. And then after we adjust the text, then we'll adjust these sprites. The menu itself, we want to center on screen. So we'll do probably first box, then text, and then controls. So do those in that order. When you're designing something, you can do it in like an art program. You can know what your dimensions are, try to get some actual coordinates. We might be doing that. You can also just sort of move stuff around until it looks good. Sometimes that's good enough. So I'm just going to check something before we get going, and we'll get going. All right. So first things first is this box. So we have a couple different menus in the game. Let's go ahead and go to the adventure mode. Select the level. Now, if I click I right now on the keyboard and gamepad, it would be start. Might change it. Here you can see this pause menu. Pretty centered, right? All this pause menu, though, has is these 5 selections. If I click escape, I did not mean to start it. Oh, that's actually a bug. Wait a second. I clicked resume, and the enter press from resume started the level. Let's write that down. I have some of these things where a button press or something, if it's not captured, like within its context, that button press later in the loop of the game, because the game is running on a loop, could still be used as the same button press within that loop for something else that's happening down the line. That looks like what just happened. Anyway, if I press escape, here's our other options menu. It's the same exact options menu that's functionally the same as we see on the title screen, but you can see that the box is to the top left, and you can see if I go here, the text and the buttons are actually aligned with each other. What this is telling me is that the original render target is aligning with this dimensions and not the title screen dimensions. So the title screen dimensions, I think, are a lower resolution than the game dimensions here. So when we're looking at this and we're moving this box over and stuff, we might want to do it here first and then adjust for the title screen. It might be a little bit easier, because the text and the buttons already have the same ratio of where we'd want them to be. So like this ratio is pretty good. It might need to be a little bit bigger and move to the middle. But it's pretty good. Now if we go, say, back to our, there we go, back to our main menu. I also don't have any like, are you sure you want to go back to the main menu? It's just like, see ya. Might eventually be a thing. We go back to our options menu here. You can see that the text is the same spot, but the buttons are not. So I think, and the box, of course, is way bigger here too. So it is a render target thing, and we want to first let's do the menu in-game, and then we'll adjust it here. And we'll just have to say, hey, if you're on the title screen, multiply these dimensions by some ratio. And that ratio is probably the ratio of the render targets, depending on what location we're at. In my previous C# Monogame stream last week, I talked about render targets. You can think of render target as you're grouping a whole bunch of sprites all into one package, and you're displaying it to a given plane, a target. So you can think of a target being like something like a projector, like one flattened image, one flattened frame. And that target could be a different dimension. So say it's like if you were zooming in on a camera, your target is changing dimensions as you zoom in or zoom out. And that's what a render target is. You're choosing the dimensions of flattening all these sprites on a given surface or plane or target. And you can have multiple render targets, and you can be changing render targets depending on what sprites you want to display and where. So brief overview. So anywho, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the actual game, and we're going to go in game. We'll just still go here. We'll pull up our options menu. You also see something with the menus. We hide text when menus are open, and that's because text, you can see current charge, it's overlapping here. The 0, 0 is overlapping here. All text when menus are open needs to be hidden, because just like images are sent to a render target, all text is rendered at the very end. And all text shows up in front of everything in the game. So that's the way that I've designed my game. I haven't actually figured out a different way of doing it. I haven't researched it enough. I did research it a lot. But in order to get the text to basically be consistent no matter where you are in the game in terms of where it's rendering, I'm doing it all at the end, which means that text cannot overlap. You can't have a text like this and a text behind it, and for there to be sort of this overlap of dimensions and such. So if you want text to only show up here, or for text to show up behind a sprite, there is no like overlap where like part of the word alpha could appear behind, say, a box. It's either you're showing all of the word alpha or you're showing none of it. So this options menu, first we're going to move this box over to the middle right here. So let's pull up our Visual Studio. And we're going to be living in the title screen. No. Our controls menu right here. And we're going to be in draw. Here's the menu sprite. This is where our dimensions of the menu sprite are no longer going to be hard-coded. We're going to need to define the height, the X, Y, and the width of this, because as I noted, this is going to be here, displayed here, and it's all going to be displayed on the title screen. And when it's on the title screen, it's going to have a different X, Y, and such as a ratio of our dimensions. So first, why don't we go ahead and do a little bit of adjustments of these so they're not all hard-coded to a location. We can actually make this a little bit easier. You can see we are basically, for all of these things, this is home, quit confirm, quit and close, all of these different things. This is just for the original text. So if we go back to here, that's just for these. And then once we go in, we have text in each of the menus themselves. Oops, did not mean to do that. But we want to do the box first. So why don't we just move the box, and once we move the box, then we can add variables and stuff. So I can do this on the fly. So if we go back to Visual Studio here, I can just pause the game. And where did it go? Here we go. Put it to the left. And here, say instead of saying we wanted it to be 100, what if we just wanted it to be 200? Easy as that. You can click continue, and we could take a look, and you can see the box moved over. Pretty straightforward. Now, what are the dimensions of this render target? So if we open up Visual Studio again at the beginning of last stream, we looked at the render targets. If we scroll to the top, here are different render targets. And our render target for the level is a 640 by 360. So 640 pixels wide and 360 pixels tall. And you can see that our menu render target is 400 pixels wide and 240 pixels tall. And that's the title screen. So you can see that the dimensions of our title screen is less than the dimensions of our level. So if we think of 640, 360, you could actually put this box right in the smack dab of the center. So you can see we're at about 200 here, and if you imagine the whole thing being 640, if we put it right in the middle, it'd be 320, but we want the middle of the box to be in the middle of this. And we're actually not sure how big we want this box to be right now. I would say right now it's a 200 wide box. Why don't we just make it half of the screen? If we're going to make it half the screen, that's going to be 640 divided by 2 is 320. So that would mean that the left side of the box is 160 to the left of the middle of the screen. So the left of the middle of the screen is 320 minus 160, so its x dimension is going to be 160. The y is going to be, if we also wanted it to be half of the screen, it's half of, we said it was 360 divided by right here, or 360, so 180. So let's go ahead and go to our control menu. Move this over here as a reference. So here, for now, we're just hard coding it. We said that we want this to be 160. Our width, we're going to be changing to be 320. We said that our height was going to be also half of the total height, which is 180. And then we're going to be moving it down. The total height is 360 and we're 180. So the midpoint of our menu is going to be 90. So it's going to be 180 minus 90, which is 90. So we're going to move it down 90. So if we click continue, you can see now we have what is essentially a square, or a rectangle, I mean. And you can see this is exactly half of the screen this way and half of it this way. However, that's not going to quite work for us. Why? It's because it needs to be a little bit taller. It looks like our menu here might be a little bit taller. But actually, now that we've removed buttons, we used to have more buttons. This actually, if I move this text up a little bit, this might fit right in the middle. Might be a little bit too wide on either side. But I think we could center this and then adjust this. So this actually doesn't look too bad. So I'm also not showing it. Here you go. So here we go. Here is our box. You can see it's right smack dab in the middle. It's half of our total width and half of our total height. And you can see that our gameplay, game area right here, is also right in the middle of the screen too. Some of this stuff is a little bit on the edges. And one of the things that could be considered as a UI update is increasing the dimensions here. If you wanted the game area to just be a little bit bigger. I think I played it a lot, obviously. I think it's pretty good. I think it's completely fine. One of the reasons there is a lot of UI space on the right and left side of the screen is because this game's going to be able to be played by phone and tablet. So when you're holding the sides of the screen, you don't want your hands overlapping the play area. So my right hand's going to be over here on turbo, boop, 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 and left hand's going to be controlling left, right, or up, down. So you don't want your hands overlapping what you're actually looking at, especially considering everything is relevant. And that's why I think having a lot of space over here is good. So this box looks decent where it is. And if we click back, I think our first thing is going to be moving over this part of the screen to the middle. Then I think we'll work through each of the menus. So then we'll do the audio, then we'll do the keyboard, and then the gamepad. And the keyboard and the gamepad are going to be very similar. So first, let's move all this text over. So we want all this text to be moved down here. So we'll show Visual Studio again. This track sounds a little bit like what's it called? Splatoon. So here we're in the home state. As I said, text is rendered the same anywhere in the game. So we're not going to need to do variables for our text. We can just kind of hard-code it. We will keep the same ratio though here. So you can see right now, I have a ratio of all the text here being left aligned. I have that being 40 more than the options menu, or the heading. And that each of them are 33, or 30, I mean, apart from each other. Now this is 180, 36. If we go back, 180, 36. And you can see the text is also being rendered in the same 640 by 360 render target. This was a design decision too, where I wanted, one big thing is I wanted the text and the sprites to be rendering to the same dimension. So as one, it's easier to design stuff. It was easier for me to design stuff quicker, knowing that they would render to the same location. And also there were points where I wanted text to easier to be aligned over certain objects. So that's why it's here. So if we know that the options word is going to be around centered, we know it's going to be around the middle of the screen. So if we go here and we saw, well, half of 640 is 320, so about 300-ish. We could try about 300. Let's pause it again. And then if we're going to make it lower, we know here, this is happening at 180. Or 90, I mean, it's 90 right here. So a little bit lower than 90, maybe 110. And we can just see what that looks like. So there you go. Options right in the middle. It's not too bad. We could also make the word bigger. You know, if we wanted these words to be bigger, we could always do that. Then if we move these guys, that looks pretty decent as a first try. We said that they were all going to be same left aligned. And, you know, we could make it a little bit more, we could move the words a little bit closer together if we wanted. Just that. So let's just say, try, I don't know, 270. And 140. See what the first one looks like. And you can see resumes right there. What's funny is you can scroll and you can see this is when it's white. That's pretty good. Cool. Here it is too, if I didn't show it. So let's go back to Visual Studio and we'll just update everything according to that. So let's click pause. 270 worked pretty well. Again, you could have a variable here if you wanted. 140. Here, why do we have two different lines? Well, if it's in use, it's one color. If it's not in use, it's another color. You could also do the shorthand if then here instead of doing two full lines. I had some other stuff going on too at the time, which is why stuff is commented out. So it's a little bit more verbose than it needs to be. Between each of these, let's only add 20 pixels instead of 30, because I think if we do 30, it's going to be too much. Say if we did 170 and see what this looks like. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. How did I mess that up? Why is that so weird? It is so wrong. Oopsie. Oh. What did I do? Was I wrong? And that it was 30. Oh, the original distance was more than I think 30 down. What does it look like again? Yeah. Resume is correct. Oh, I just messed up the other stuff. I'm stupid. Oh, right. Yeah. No, I just forgot to update these. Just look at resume and audio. Just look at resume and audio. Ignore the other words. Resume and audio are too far away from each other. That's the key. So it's gonna be 20. It's fine. Figure it out. Let's update the whole thing. So we've already paused it here. Let's say 160. This is 180. This is 200. And 220. And we're done. Okay. There you go. Very good. Look at that. Not bad. Definitely have some ample space on the sides here. So there you go. Not terrible. If we compare it to our pause menu, pause is a little bit bigger, right? The words are here the same size, I think. Let's say pause. Actually, the words are bigger. Interesting. Let's take a look at our pause menu, see what font we're using, what font size. Probably want to be consistent. Do we have a pause menu here? No. Should be in menus, maybe. Menus, speed of the pause. What font are we using? We are using 14 and 32 is the font size. 12. All right. Why don't we just make it consistent? Let's pause it. Got plenty of space. See what that looks like. It's huge. It's a little different now. So that's fine. Just need to move the word options over. If we go between our menus now. Yeah, I see pause. We could use the same box, honestly. We're using 5 things, right? Yeah. Why don't we just use the same the same box? It ought to be the exact same here. The only difference is that the menu might need to be a little bit wider. Because when you do this kind of stuff, it extends a little bit wider than what the pause menu would be. But other than that, we just have a slightly wider version of this. And I think it's fine. Let's do that. So let's go to our pause menu. And see where it's at. So you even see here for gauntlet mode, I have a slightly different dimensions for the pause menu. I forget why. I don't know. 286, 100. Go back here, we'll pause it. 286, 100. The box itself is going to be in a different location right here. Just copy this. Now we said we're going to make it a little bit wider. So we're going to move it less to the right. So we'll make it 20 wider. How about that? And we'll see if we need to make it a little wider still. And if we go back here, these guys are located at 280, 170. And then they're down from there. So the first one's 280, 150. So if we go here, instead of 270, it's 280. It's interesting. It's fine. first one's at 150, a little bit lower, which makes sense. And then the others are, again, 20 apart. So this sort of development is super easy, right? We're just adjusting some numbers or moving stuff around on the screen. Not going to do anything fancy today. And there you go. So pause menu. Now we'll go to our other menu. Why didn't no good? I messed up. I thought I made it wide enough. Did I decrease how wide it was? I'm supposed to increase 40. Oh. I only increased it by 20. So it needs to be 208 wide. And then I forgot to do quit at 280. I do have a thing for quit and close having to confirm. Where's that? There we go. Why is it? It's still... Still doesn't look wide enough. It's probably just has to do with the dimensions looking weird. Yeah. Let's make it a little bit wider. I don't know. 48. I'm not even showing it. You'll just see the results. A little bit less. It's gonna magically change. Again. Boop. There you go. That feels pretty good. Okay, options. Very good. Okay, now we're gonna change audio. Ah, the audio controls are way up there. So this menu also, they're not even showing. Oh, there they go. There are the arrows. Everything's got to be moved to our new box. A really silent song. Ah, it's just ending. Okay. So let's do that. I'll show it this time. So in our controls menu, we're done with home. And we're not going to do quick confirm yet. We're scrolling down to audio video. Right now it's just audio. There's no video options. Sorry. One day maybe. And we're going to be using probably the same location generally as our one above. So 32, and we'll just do this. Let's pause. Pause 10 seconds for station identification. So it's going to be called audio controls. And it's going to be, since the word's bigger, it needs to be moved over a little bit to the left. We'll just adjust it some. These guys, instead of being 10, I'm just going to make them the same. 14. And then I'll move them over to, I'm gonna make this just a little bit. And again, we're gonna look at this stuff for guidelines. So roughly 280. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is where the buttons are in relation to them. And the buttons themselves, though, are, what, 218? It's weird. Yeah, those will just have to be figured out. I don't know why it says 218, 252. Is it true? I'll click continue. There's our audio controls. It is about 215, I guess. They're going to need to be down here. Okay. So we're just going to go. It'd be nice if you could, oh, sorry, I'm not showing it. If you could drag and drop. If I could just take this and go. But I can't. No. I wonder if that's something you could do like in Unity or something. It's just like drag and pull the text over. Probably. In this, we have to code everything. So I'm actually not even going to show Visual Studio and pop back and forth. You'll just see the results here on screen. So as I do stuff, I'll just click continue and you'll see it being adjusted. So we're going to move the audio controls over to like 256, like that. I moved over a little bit. Now we need to do it more. And this is just a series of adjustments. So these guys are gonna be a little bit left aligned, the volume. And then the numbers themselves to the right of the volume will be aligned as well. So we have 132, let's show this really quick, 132 and 230 being how far they are from each other, so it's about 100. The text looks like pretty decent, despite being 14 font now. So why don't we go ahead and we're going to need to move down. So at least like say 120 or 130. I'd probably say 130. Which means these were 20 more. We'll just say 150. Before we were using like 8 and such. It was just an adjustment I made earlier. And then the back button is 170. If we see this is about 236, why don't we just say about 246? And the other one will be 344. Perfect. Hey, yeah, all right, we're doing it, baby. So we need to move it more to the right and more down, and the back to get the treatment. The most interesting development is moving stuff around. This needs to be a good deal further down. Look at that. We're getting there. Probably want it moved further to the right. We're using 20 here just to be consistent. May as well actually just have it at the same spot as the home text. Let me do that. So I've been trying to do these minor adjustments on this. Why don't we just make it whatever this is at, which was 280. So we'll just say 280 and 378. Okay. So the lines. Not bad. Again, it could be more compact. The text could be a little bit wider. I'm just using the same same text, same padding, just to be consistent. Cool. So now we just need to move these arrows. You can see the arrows up above, and those need to be adjusted to our new positions. So let's go ahead and do that. And that's these guys down here. Gotta show it. 218 and 252. So these are going to be to the left and right of our number text right here, the 378 one. So before that was 240 something. I don't remember. It was like 140 something and 240 something. So this is going to be 3. The key is that this is 34 apart. 34. So why don't we just give it a good old college try and say 368. Nah, 360. 394. 4. And we'll just do the left one. Because like the other one will line up. It's just a different height. And then the height, that's at 150 up there. So it's going to be a little bit about the same, but it's going to be a little bit lower. We'll just make it 150 for now. Okay. Not bad. There you go. Almost. So it needs to be moved over a little bit more to the right and a little bit more down. So you just get to see the benefit of the work. We're just going to move it a little bit more to the right. Why don't we say like 366. And a little bit more down, maybe like 154. You can see how precise things can be in development. Oh, not quite right. No. All right. Width-wise, not bad. I think we need to give a little bit more padding now that the numbers are bigger. a little bit. And then we need to move it up maybe like 2. It's a series of adjustments. So we're gonna make this 364 and 402. I think this is gonna be perfect. Oh, look at that. That's good. You might say the right one needs to be moved over a little bit to the right. And it could also be moved down 1 pixel. A series of adjustments. It needs to be perfect. Wait for it. Wait for. Oh yeah. Oh, that looks so. Oh man. That number's just so good. Good enough. We're not centering 5%. We're not going for the A++. Okay, so the next one we just need to put right below it. So we'll show this now. So here we are. The other one was 20 below it before. So the location, this is for the X coordinate. So this one ought to be 173. It might need to be a little bit more because we changed the font size. Let's see. We did it. Very good. All right, good enough, right? Pretty good. Pretty not bad. Moving on. Now we're gonna do our keyboard and gamepad, which I think are running off of very similar dimensions. So here's our keyboard and our gamepad. Now before we move everything, well, we could add it later. We're gonna need to fix this because we don't have a 10th control. You see if I click right, there's nothing. Nothing highlighted. We don't have a 10th control yet for the game. So we'll need to think of that. What's interesting too is we also have this inventory PC and a pause options. So this needs to say options and the other one say pause. These are 2 different menus. So we need to fix the text too. Alright. Now, is this all going to fit within our little box? If it's the same font size, I might have to change the font size. Don't tell anyone. I'm gonna change the font size. The song's loud. Okay. So let's start out with keyboard controls. Oh, it looks so good. Excuse me, right in the middle. So we're going to go ahead and show code. And we're going to do keyboard first. Because gamepad is a little bit more. Now this is a little trickier. But it's also easier. And the reason it's trickier and easier is because we're not hard coding a bunch of values. We're just hard coding a few values. And then it's going through a list of all our controls and is moving them according to that list, according to our locations. So here's the controls text. We have the word select. So like when you're changing it, it's like saying select, choose your new control that you're going to be. And then we have the controls themselves, which are the buttons and such. So here is our controls text. We're getting it from our game controls. And our control itself is coming from our dictionary as well. This is all coming from our controls class. That's our constants class, our controls class. So all this stuff is being instantiated when this controls class is getting set, which is, I don't know, somewhere in here. It's somewhere in here. Let's find it. This is where they're setting the sort order and stuff that we had to change. Oh, draw control. So depending on the control, we're going to be passing it in, and then it's going to draw it. It's going to do a switch statement. So let's go ahead and look at how we did our other menu in terms of alignment. I think I'm starting to get the yawns. I think we don't want the text of the title to be as big as the other one. Because see how options, it's just like it all fits. And this one is gonna be real big. You can kind of think it. You can put your hand up there. Put your hand up to the thing and grab it. and then move it over. I don't think it'll fit. But let's just move all the text first. All right. So we know from above that it's roughly at 236, 100 is where the title would be, and then everything below that follows suit. Here we had music and SFX at 280 as the start of this text. However, our text for our controls are going to fill up the menu. It's not going to be centered like the others. So it's going to be more so to the right of this, which is a little bit to the right of 220. So as long as everything stays in sync in terms of the ratio, we'll be fine. Now all of the stuff that we have to update is really just here, because all these other menu items are going to be following suit, and we're not going to be changing that. So right here, really the only stuff we need to change are 110 and 176. And then the right column, 208 and 274. That's the X. In terms of the Y, we have this 32 plus whatever. So we just need to make 32 be the number that we're starting at, and then we're adding rows after that according to our for each loop through the dictionary. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. Keyboard controls, what did I say? 236, 100. Two, 100. I say 32. I'll make it slightly less. I'll make it 28. Over here, we said 220, so we're gonna make this maybe a 230. And this was how far further? 66, so 296 here. And then do that here. Instead of starting at 32, we see that if we go up, our menu starts at 80. And this is going to be below our title. Our title is at 100. So if we want to put like 20 less, because we don't have a whole lot of room, or 20 more, I mean, it'd be like, say 120. Here I was using 32s and stuff like that because if you're going by the 16, the grid is made of generally indivisible by 16. Although there is a little bit off at the bottom, so not quite. Doesn't need to be in 16s like 32, 48. We'll just do 120. This is just our first try. This is all trial and error. So that's the left column. And the right column, we had 110 and 176. So our right column looks like it's 98 less than that. So that would be here, 98 less than, or 98 more than that is 328. And then 98 more than this is 394. And the stuff at the bottom I'm not going to change yet. And then we're also going to try 120. So this is just trial and error, educated guesses. And we'll see what it looks like. Ta-da! Not bad. Pretty good. Let's ignore this part. The bottom. Look at that. Yeah. It's not too bad. Keyboard controls could be smaller, of course. Yeah. There you go. So everything just needs to be shifted, maybe 20 pixels. Pretty sweet. So why don't we shift everything 20 to the right? So go up here. If everything's going to the right, this is the left column. The Y column looked decent. The keyboard controls here, why don't we try to make this smaller font. And if everything's moving 20 to the right, it's 250. And again, you could have variables up here like left column X, left column da 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 da. So you're only updating it, say 4 places instead of like 6 places. That is completely feasible. I've done that at other parts in the code base. Here I'm just partially being lazy and partially sometimes it feels like more management for me because I'm like, well, what does that variable mean? And then I have to like go look to see where the variable is being used, and I don't know. Just don't feel like it. But you can. There you go. That was good enough. Look at that. Easy. Now it does look like the menu is too far to the right, doesn't it? Why does the menu look too far to the right now? There's more space over here than over there. Wait a second. Wait. If I go back. Huh. Why does the whole menu look too far to the right? No. I didn't notice it for here. Wait a second. See, that's centered. Oh, because I made it wider and I didn't like move it. Guys. I like did that, right? See how the right side is. All right, so I made it wider because the text itself like is like pushing it to the right, you know? Like it's kind of like going, because I'm left aligning it. It's all about the left alignment of the text made the right side of the menu move a little bit further to the right. And now you're going to have to live with the fact that this is always going to be a little bit too far to the right. Because I'm not changing. And let's move this show whatever. It needs to be down here somewhere. That's called Too Bad. I don't feel like moving it. In here. Show gamepad, reset, etc. What is this? 150. It was originally 110 and 160 something, so 40 more than this. 290. And then the others are 20 more. And 330. Okay. And 182, the others were originally 166. Which meant that they were 16 more than whatever this is. No, bottom. Nah, it's different. Huh. I don't know. Let's take a look. There you go. Centered, right? I don't know. It looks like they all need to move down about 36. So, do that. Just do that. Ish. These are 16 more. So what's 36? 218. That's pretty good. Maybe a little bit more. We're ignoring the reset to default. We're just looking at this one. I think it'd be a little bit further down. Maybe 8. Okay. We'll say 226. Up. And then we'll make these guys 16 more than that, so it's 242. And then this is 256. It's gonna look beautiful. It's so pretty. Wait, why is this one? Why does the back button look like it's closer? Am I crazy? I do my math wrong. Yeah, I did. It's supposed to be like this. Amazing how you can just like see something just a little bit. There it is. All right, look at that keyboard controls menu. Beautiful. It's beauty. So you can turn on or off whether gamepad controls are on or off. Now if we go to our gamepad, all we have to do is basically make all the numbers the same. So we're gonna do that. Gamepad is above here, right up here. Our the way that we're doing the controls are slightly different, which is why it's not all in one loop. But we can take a look at our numbers and align it. So we're just going to take this and copy this part from keyboard up to here. And we'll just say gamepad. That. We can actually do this if we want. Zoop. Sometimes this is nice to be able to split up your solution, because we can go down here and have our gamepad stuff. And then if we get on here, we can have our keyboard stuff. So we can take a look and update them accordingly. So we're just going to update them to the same thing. Like that, 120. That 120 hit. That was pretty good. And then when we go further down, we'll just copy over the same adjustments. And same for down these. Again, some of this stuff's a little bit redundant. If you were wanting to do this on your own, you could set some variables so that you're not having to update quite so many places. It's fine. Now we can take a look. Here's our keyboard. We go back, and there's our gamepad. It's a beautiful. Now the word gamepad is a little bit smaller than keyboard, which is why keyboard looks a little bit more centered. If we wanted to do a minor adjustment, we could just move gamepad over a wee bit to the right to make ourselves feel better. So I'll just do that right now. A wee bit. 2 pixels, 4 pixels. I'm thinking 4. You start to see in pixels. There you go. Good enough. Now, the last thing that we want to do, well, there's a couple things, but the next thing that we want to do, we have about, I don't know, 15 minutes left today. We've almost got it perfect here in this menu. We got a keyboard, we have our audio, pretty great. Is our last control, which we said we probably want a dummy control in here. We want to rename inventory PC and pause/options. And then on our confirm quit, you can see it's up here. So we also need to change our little confirm quit menu. So all those things need to change. So the first thing is, let's just update the text. It's an easy update. So instead of saying pause/options and inventory/PC, we want this to say options and this to say pause, or options menu and pause menu. So why don't we go to the controls class? We might need to restart the project for this. I'm not sure. I don't think so, actually. So if we go to the controls class and we look for options, see it's right here. I'm going to call this options menu. You can ignore some of the game control stuff. Again, this is from the previous game, and I don't feel like changing the variables. Now, if you're using a game, so this is coming from a different game, and if you're constantly changing code bases and like adapting them over time, it's like if you're like 6 games deep and you're like, well, this used to mean this and 3 games ago, then maybe you start being more diligent about it. I think that's it. It'd be that simple. Options menu, pause menu. Options menu, pause menu. Cool. Now, if I select one, is the text showing up right? It is. Select. Boost. My gamepad controls? I don't have gamepad up. I don't have it selected. I don't have a controller in. And you're soft locked. Maybe you have something where you should have to have a controller in order to change the gamepad controls. Nah. A. Probably the last thing we want to do is here in terms of just where stuff is appearing here is this. By the way, spoilers. If I go back to our main menu. Where'd the text go? What happened? There's no text. Guys, I'm scared. What happened? The game crashed. I have no idea what happened. Alright, we need to record that. Just a minor bug. Bug. Somehow use the pause menu to go back to the main menu. And the text wasn't there or loaded. And when I pressed enter, the game crashed without an error message. I've never seen that before. Okay. Well, why don't we try to replicate that? Starting it up again. So here it is, right? This is what I expected, right? The text to be right, stuff not to be. This is what I wanted to show. I wanted to show, oh, see how like we're gonna need to adjust the non-text stuff in, you know, here. You can see the text is showing right, you know, where it's located. How'd that, wait, if I go here, go in a level, go here, we like adjusted a thing, right? Adjust a thing. In the same thing, we're gonna go straight to pause menu. Then we're gonna go to main menu. Oh, I did it again! Alright, so I think I know the thing. We never closed the options menu. So right now, if we go to and show Visual Studio, we're on the title screen here. And we're going to put a pause menu break here. And you can see the controls menu state. The menu state right now is opened. And this is what's happening. So all the text is only going to be showing if the controls menu isn't open. According to this, the controls menu is opened. Now the controls menu isn't supposed to be opened. Technically, on other parts of the game, I can press I to open up the controls menu or escape. But you can't do that here. So what's going to happen is if I oops, wrong one. If I attempt to press enter here, what's going to happen is, where is it? Right here. If enter and is ready for input, it's going to attempt to do something, but I don't think any of this stuff will work. So let's see what happens when you click enter here and why the game is crashing. So we're going to press enter. That didn't do it. Is it pressing down? That didn't do it. Oh, you know what I did? I think I selected quit. That's why it looked like it crashed. There's a quit. So one of these options is quit, and one of them is starting the menu. So if I just select... it appeared again! So what was happening, actually, is I was controlling the controls menu, but the controls menu wasn't drawn to the screen. So I wasn't using the controls menu. I just found a way to close the controls menu. And now I can look at this menu. The controls menu, by the way, is the options menu, which is this one. All right. So we need to rewrite our bug. So somehow, when so we're gonna rewrite this. When you have the options, I'm gonna scroll up a little bit so you can see what I'm writing. When you have the options menu open, immediately go to the pause menu without closing options. Then choose main menu. Because the options menu is still open, the text doesn't show on the main menu. and you're actually controlling the options menu without seeing it. Need to close the options menu and going to the main menu. So fairly easy bug to figure out, just closing it. That's pretty good. Anywho, I guess we'll do our last thing today. Which is fixing this. This is what happened. Without looking at the menu, we went to the quit and close. We clicked up, and I clicked enter, and everything shut down. And that's why there was no error message, because I actually used the quit command to quit. So let's just move this stuff as well. So we're going to go over here. And I think it's at the bottom. No, it's not. It is right here. Quit confirm. Quit and close. Quit and close. Audio controls. Quit and close. All right, move this over here. Quit and close. Wait, did I use the all right. Here's that. All this stuff needs to be moved. And we can just move it similar to the audio visual. Audio video 280 150. And the other one was 378. It was 170. The lower one, yeah. And then that's roughly, oh, the arrows were a little bit different. Surrounding, what was I surrounding? Yes, no. I don't even know why I have the arrows for this. You don't have arrows surrounding text normally. I'm just not going to use it. Nah. Oopsie. Oopa. I hope I did a thing. Oopa. Oh. No. That doesn't look good at all. Look what we have. It's bad. It's bad. It's not good. 28. 14. Let's hide this. Oh. Wait. Yeah, I'm losing it. You know, you know, it's pretty bare bones. Maybe that's why I put the arrows. Eh, that's okay. Let's move this baby over a little bit. Move them over, I don't know, 320 is the midpoint. This is 310. Let's move them down. Let's make them bigger. Everyone's gonna be like, oh man, am I really quitting the wonderful game of Switchball Deluxe? I don't want to quit yet. And then your mom's like, turn off the Switchball Deluxe. You're playing too much. No. I don't want. How does that look? It's functional. Yes? No. Yes? No. Yes? No. We need to make it even bigger. We need to make it comically a little bit bigger. There we go. Beautiful. Quitting close. We need to move them a little bit, move them up a little bit, move them to the right a little bit, and then we're done. I'm just doing some last minute adjustments. There we go. There it is. No. See, you go in here, it's a little bit small, and you're like, huh. You go quick, like, really? Wait, it still needs to be moved over just a little bit. But isn't this annoying how this is like this? And it's like a little bit to the left, but it's also like more centered. Goodbye. Too bad. All right, that's going to be it for today. We did it. Woohoo! So next time we do development, which will be sometime this week, we will make the adjustments for the buttons and the background of the menu for the main menu, the title screen. We'll fix the bug that we found with having to disable the options menu when we go to the menu, the title screen. And we'll be done. We'll be done that update. Visually, it'll be fine. The last possible thing we could do, which we probably will, is add a 10th control. Not sure what it will be yet, but having something in there, maybe it'll just be a fun, I don't know, a little Easter egg or a little thing you can do. But I want it to be symmetrical, and there'll probably be another button use for something. So may as well just put in a stand-in. Thanks for all tuned in today. We'll be watching this also later on YouTube and Twitch. Tomorrow, don't know what I'll be doing. Switching it up, playing games, making stuff, playtesting. A little bit of variety stuff. As always, Jesus loves you. I love you too.